Hey everybody, welcome to the 1804 show. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and here's another episode. How everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's safe. Everybody's enjoying a lovely Sunday before they go back to work, cause shit, I do. But yeah, I got a special guest for y'all tonight. Special guest. She's a lovely friend of mine. And I want you guys to give her a lovely 1804 welcome. But yeah, we popping, you know. Sorry I'm late, had technical difficulties with my footage, you know, so hope you guys don't take it personal, but hey, things happen. But yeah, you know, I've been knowing her for pretty much for 5 years now. You know, she's a sweetheart. And it's just been like a lot of crazy stuff going on with this Coming to America too, and then this All-Star Weekend stuff. You know, people crazy. You know what I don't like about the Coming to America too was they showed a man get sexually assaulted, and I ain't like that, and I couldn't watch it no more. You know, and not everybody's a hater because somebody black makes something and we all gotta support it. I don't condone that type of stuff, and I don't condone people calling out certain people for not liking something. That's idiotic to me. But other than that, I'm just really excited about this episode, and you know, can't wait to get her on here. Cause we finna talk. Oh, I don't have no music for you guys. My little camera thing messed me up, so I'm gonna play something right now. Here's from a buddy of mine by the name of OJ.
Got smoke and I swear they playing it. If we got smoke, then it's second-handed. All of them hoes make sex advances. I promise you the only one I was missing. I kinda was tempted, but never changed it. But baby, I'm sorry for all the damage I caused. But even God believe in second chances. So why you don't believe in second chances? Just know there's nothing I won't do to spend.
Hey, thank y'all. Welcome to the live.
I'll give my all to you.
Okay, my guest is here. You know, got your love.
Hi, I'm trying to share it on my page too.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. I was a little irritated because my phone would let me go live, so I had to do a whole bunch of turn it off, turn it back on type things. So luckily it finally worked. So
That's okay. Is my music okay or is it too loud? Can you hear me clear?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, okay.
Put the AirPods on real quick. Okay. So how you doing? How you been?
I'm good. I want to say I'm so proud of you for like, following your calling. I feel like anytime that you have like an inkling that you want to do something, I think you should go for it. Everybody may not understand it or agree with it, but I think that's really important. So I'm really proud of you for doing this.
No problem. I feel like it was just something that I had to do because nobody else was doing it, and nobody wants to be the first except me. So, if anything else, it's just I got tired of just this city being represented in a negative light, and I wanted to do something about it because
Exactly.
we all not we all not negative, we all not ignorant, promophobic, none of that. There's a lot of good, decent people here. So,
Have some major talent
hmm
in, in Michigan. Like people will never know that. Like
right, 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 right.
and it's so funny because so I kind of like rebranded my music studio. I had everything under one, and we can get into the details of that later.
hmm
But added the 989 on the end because it's like a hometown pride, that I feel like people can't understand. And I think I've seen some other people have some businesses with the 989 behind it too. So I just think that's really cool of us to do that because it's where we come from. Like I'm I would still be a great person no matter where I grew up, right? But I wouldn't be the person that I am now. I would be somebody else. You see what I'm saying? So I take pride in where I come from, 100%.
Yeah, you got to. It just what kills me is that a lot of people move out of town and then they just totally adopt their hometown as like pretty much like if it's where they came from, and they just totally disregard Saginaw. And to me, that's not real. That's not real at all. That's fake to me, because Saginaw will always be a part of me. I wear it like a badge of honor, and I was lucky enough to live in different parts of the country, different East Coast, the South, Midwest, and everything. And I always said where I was from. And even though they didn't like it, I didn't care because Saginaw always will be my home. It's no place like home. So
100%. We have beautiful things, lots of great restaurants, parks. I mean, it's really a great place. So,
yeah, yeah. And I just think that the media really need to stop putting out destructive things because when young people see destructive things in newspapers or reading articles on just the gangs and the shootings, and it really don't be no shootings like that in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I lived in Detroit, it was shootings every day, it was murders every day. But when we have like one murder in 1 month, everybody like, oh my gosh, we got to do something. Like it's a problem. It's gang violence, and I'm like, it's not even that bad here. I just think that people need to be careful about the information that they put out because you become a pariah and you become responsible for that. And you got to hold yourself accountable about the things you put out there. It's, what I'm saying? Even though it's news, publicity isn't always good publicity. So,
exactly, exactly.
what you want to talk about first? You have a very interesting person with a huge resume.
um, I could talk about the spinoff, basically what I did. As an artist, I found that, you know, well, not found, I find. It's always happening, that you're constantly changing, experiences are constantly developing you, and you know, you rebrand yourself, recreate yourself, new ideas, new things happen. So kind of like things that we're doing, they're not like forevermore, you know.
Hmm.
So at one point in time, my brand was solely under Know Your Worth, which is still in existence. Um, so I had the entire brand under there because I've always been interested in lots of different things. I'm interested in different types of music, different types of dance, different types of educational things. You know, usually when you meet people, they're like only interested in like one or two things, right? And that's what you know that person for. Like, oh, this is a baseball player, or oh, you know, this person raps, or oh, this person draws pictures or takes photography. You know, that's what you know the person as. I like so many things, but I will always get told that that was wrong. You know, like you shouldn't like all these things. You're never going to be really, really good at anything as long as you do that. And I was told this by mentors, by my professors, and things like that. And to be honest, they did not have ill intent. So I'm not even trying to put them out there bad like that.
Hmm.
It was just so like when you see a talent in someone and it's your specialty, like you want to develop it. You know what I'm saying? So if this person is my student and they're only learning classical music, you want them to put all of their time and energy into that. But to me, it sells the person short, because what if they're good at classical, jazz, hip hop, you know, contemporary pop? You see what I'm saying? So if you try to box them and discourage them from learning other genres because you want them to focus on one thing to be the best in that field, you don't know what you may shortchange them from. So I essentially kept everything under one brand, and it was like language, music, art, blogging. It was just everything. Like I was just a total brand. And this lasted for years. And then just recently, in the past maybe year or so, I just had a new awakening, and I wanted to separate everything. So I think some of my friends have seen it. I didn't like make a big announcement. At first, I was going to, but sometimes everyone can't see your vision, right? So I
Hmm.
just said, you know, I don't want to do the big announcement. I'm just going to start posting my pages. And for people that it resonate with, they can like it. For people that don't, they can keep scrolling. You see? So I broke everything down. So now my music and arts is under one thing. And I have a Instagram and Facebook like page for that. And it's the Prospering Minds Music and Arts 989, right? So it's short for Prospering Minds 989. So that's all music and arts. The Know Your Worth still exists. Is blogging. It's me just kind of sharing different awakening experiences and just kind of encouraging and motivating people. And then, you know, I like to travel. So I moved everything into the travel page, and that's like Infinite Intelligence. I have the Black Love page. Have you seen that one?
Oh, not yet.
Okay,
Just
we
invite
need to
me.
talk about that. I have, I have, let me see. I mean, it's really quite a few. Um, well, let's, since I'm stuck for words right now, let's focus on that. So I created the Black Love page because I feel like there's no shots to other races, but for so long we've not seen successful Black love, but it exists, right?
Yeah.
But it reminds me of what we were saying about our city. It's not portrayed
No.
because it's tons of people. I know family, friends, lots of people who have had successful Black love or who have successful Black love. But when we see it in the media, we see a lot of our Black men being absent fathers, a lot of our black men in jail, right? You see, you know, lots and lots of single black mothers, but there are a lot of single mothers, period. You see what I'm saying? But it's just what's showcased. So for me, I just wanted to emit positive energy into the atmosphere, showing the black love. You see what I'm saying? So the page is the Black Love Saga, and it just showcases that. So these are images that you're seeing, your subconscious is taking in, and you're like, wow, look at that. You know, I have people been together 50 years, you know, on there. And you're looking at that like, wow, these people were together 50 years. It's encouraging, you know.
Mhm.
And it's also good for other races, right? It may say the Black Love Saga, but it's putting new images in their head because they may not realize that from TV, from movies, from the news, what they may even think of when they think of black love, right? It's like, oh, black love exists? Like, yeah, it actually does.
Yeah, it really does, and I just think because drama sells, so they gonna always put drama ahead of prosperity and what's the actual fact, and we also have to control our narrative as well and quit looking for any dollar, because some certain things don't need to be made, and certain things we need to keep to ourselves. We got to keep certain people out of our business because they will never understand our struggle. They will never understand what we have to endure just with finances and spiritual and mental, physical, emotional. And like you said, it's always it's just never shown. It's just pretty much like it's living in a paradox, and it's not. It's just people pick and choose what to represent, and we need to start representing just black excellence, and everything isn't black excellence, and we got to be careful with that term because we can be really irresponsible sometimes. I would say with our people because they they a lot of them think with a low frequency because a lot of people really isn't, well, our people isn't really book smart because when we was young we was taught that it was bad to read, it was bad to improve your vocabulary. Oh, you sound like a white boy. Man, I had heard that all my life, and I can't help how I sound, but I love how I sound, because at the end of the day, I wear this skin like everybody else, and go through a lot of atrocities like everybody else. But it's just this competition thing. It's just we need to quit being competitive amongst each other
Mhm.
and begin to just build each other up.
Yeah, and that's funny that you say that because, you know, being a world traveler as well, I remember going places and I would say things a certain way phonetically,
Hmm.
and people say, "What are you saying?" And I'm like, "I'm saying bench." You know, like it's a bench. You sit down on the seat, and they're like, "What?" Or I say the necklace, and they're like, "The neck," or something. It's like I was corrected, and I'm like, well, that's the way that I phonetically heard it, right? You know, so this is how I speak, you know. But like you said, if you try to improve growing up, yeah, you were definitely shamed. You were shamed, like why you speak white? Basically, that's what it was said, right? It's
Yeah,
like
all the time, all the time.
this is what they told me to say, you know. So
Yeah.
that's heartbreaking, you know, to experience that because in from where we're from, right? You were speaking white, but when I entered like the business world or the college setting, they didn't understand what I was saying. They were like, "We don't know what you're saying. Can you pronounce the words better? Enunciate." I didn't even know what enunciate was. You know, I'm like, I'm saying it the best way that I can, you know? Um, And I feel like I don't think that we needed a crutch or anything. I'm never for a crutch. But I feel like we were so misunderstood by society because some of us came from places where our grandparents didn't even have an education. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
they spoke the best that they could speak. If this is what you hear primarily in the household, guess what comes out of your mouth? You see?
Yeah.
So, um, I just feel like those are the things that were lost in the cracks, right? When they say things are slipping through the cracks, because you were expected to perform on a level with people who had resources to advance in society. So that was kind of a sad thing.
Yeah, because I always tell myself when I have children, I would never whip my kids. And because of the trauma from slavery, and just, watching those movies and stuff like that, and I had everybody watch, gather around and watch them fully like punish just any slave, but mainly, they would like literally try to, you know, break your spirit and everything. And so I always wonder that, like, why we have to, because I grew up, I had to go pick my own switch, and to me, I feel like, where that come from? I was just like, dang, like, cause like, what I'm saying, you try to pick the skinny switch, and then when you go back in the house and get, with the skinny switch, they gonna make sure you go back outside and get the thick switch and everything, and this and that. Like, that's so traumatizing. Like, we, carried these type of tactics for generations. And to me, I feel like it doesn't do any good because you're not teaching anyone anything besides fear. And we need love. This love stuff, it's the only way we gonna prosper and grow in this society, in this community, in this, our neighborhoods. And it just really be upsetting how some of these parents talk to their children like they nothing. And they came out of them. Like, that's your next generation. That's gonna represent your bloodline. It's gonna carry your bloodline. Because it's just a lot of people don't really sit back and think about it. Like, one day you're gonna get old, like, and you're not, gonna be able to take care of yourself. Not gonna be able to do like the basic, fundamental things of a human body does. So you're gonna need your kids, the same kids that you mistreated, the same kids you crushed and you beaten, you know because a lot of people just think that abuse is physical, but you abuse your kids for all these years, and then because you old, I'm supposed to turn the blind eye because you're old and this and that. No, I'm gonna remember all of that. Like, and people just be like, like, you can't do that. That's your family, that's your mother, that's your father, that's your sister, your brother. I'm like, no, man. Nobody ever like apologized to me. And I just think differently, because you always got to think in the future because you never know who you're gonna need. You never know what's gonna happen. Life is unpredictable. We can be fine right now. I can get into a car accident. I could get hit by a bus. And guess what? Somebody that I mistreated and somebody who I hurt and somebody who I emotionally damaged probably gonna be the main one that's gonna need, that I'm gonna need. And when they tell me no, I'm good. I can't get mad at them. But we need to really start treating people better. We need to start loving each other better. Because everything is not an attack and everything shouldn't be a debate. It should be like just a, how we have it, just a normal conversation. Because there's always feelings get involved. Somebody always want to be offended and, oh, that's absurd, and just hear me out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the things that you're speaking about, they're generational curses, you
Hmm.
know, um, and it's no excuse, but to understand the depths of it, when you have a parent that's mistreating a child, a lot of times if you dig a little bit deeper into the history, they were also mistreated, right? And
Absolutely.
then the parent before that was mistreated. You ever have friends and stuff where they'll tell you like their grandma was just mean as heck, right? Then you'll find out that their grandmother's mother was really mean, right? Then you say, man, if you could dig a little deeper, a lot of times maybe she was abused by her husband, right?
Hmm.
Or let's say that he didn't abuse it, but her mom was mean. We're coming off from we're not too far off from slavery. So you have only several generations of people have just been freed. So these people have came off of the plantation, right? And when they entered the world, they thought they were totally free, right?
Hmm.
But only to find out when you try to have something, when you try to have a house, or when you try to go vote, or when you try to open up a bank account, right? Just basic stuff, you were still mistreated. And because we lost all of our spiritual connections, I feel like not necessarily the connections. Let me think about what I'm trying to say. We lost our, we had a lot of rituals and things that we used to do, right?
Hmm.
We had the connection that they taught us, right? So
Hmm.
because we lost all of that, a lot of people didn't know where to place their anger. So they came home and took it out on each other or on the children. So those children grew up in violent households. Like you said, it doesn't always have to be physical. They grew up in violent households, and as they went on to produce more children, that was the love they saw. That was the love they received, and they produced that as well. Um, I read the playing deck cards, and it's called the Magi system. In the Magi system, ages 0 to 13 are the most important years of your life. And if you think about it, that's where most people have their highest trauma, 0 to 13. See, your subconscious can be programmed up until about age 7. Then after that, if you're immutable, maybe till about 12. But think about that. Think about what most kids experience from 0 to 7 or 0 to 13. That's where a lot of people have been abused. They've been from house to house, no stability, things like that. So I agree with what you're saying. At some point, somebody has to stand up and just love, because when do we ever break the curses? And I feel like a huge thing within our families is nobody wants to talk about stuff. Everybody wants to keep stuff hidden, sweep stuff under the rug, but it's not about gossiping. It's about putting Uncle John out there or something like that, right? But
Hmm.
it's more so about alerting the family to what the issues are. Because when you understand the curses that's been placed on your bloodline, you can proceed to break them. Like we're in more than just a physical world. We're in a physical world, and we are spirits. And I don't think a lot of people get that. I think they know it, but I mean, we have all the best food right now. We have all the best entertainment. We have Facebook right at our fingertips. So really, to be honest, people can not really focus on that. They can say, well, I'm living a good life, and they cannot care about anything deeper. And that's also a problem.
Yeah.
People that are out here intentionally breaking generational curses, sometimes you look like a crazy person, right? Because they're
Hmm.
like, what you need an apology for? Well, you need apology because that's the start of the healing.
Yeah.
But you are making a conscious choice that there are certain things you may not do with your children. That's also further steps of healing. I think we need a lot of conversations. We need a lot of therapy. Um, and that's whatever that looks like. It doesn't always have to mean sitting down in front of a trained psychologist, right? Just having conversations like this. You don't remember, we've gotten away from this, especially with the pandemic, but you
Hmm.
don't remember kind of like having people over your house. You just have like 4 or 5 people come over, Y'all just have some drinks and you just kick it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody
Yeah.
might cook dinner. I remember, especially in college, you had a mixed crowd, you had men, women, and it was just that. Like, it wasn't people like fighting, recording fights out in the street, you know, just like being like mean to each other. It was just like good vibrations, like people here away from their families, you know, everybody put together a little bit of money, go to the store, get some stuff for tacos, right? You know, you got some tacos, a little bit of liquor, you just chilling, you might play cards, but sometimes you have deep conversations as well, you know, and we've gotten away from that a little bit, but we don't have to. I mean, we have Zoom, we have Facebook Live, we have YouTube, we have so many resources. We really don't have to use the excuse that, oh, well, it's the pandemic, right? You know,
Hmm.
we have to evolve with the times, right? So
Yeah.
there's ways we still can work it out, you know.
Yeah. And I miss those days because you had to, just when we was kids, we used to ride our bikes to each other's houses, and everybody parked their bike in front of the front yard and stuff, and we would have such a good time with no cell phones, nobody was recording nothing. It was just so fun and just so nostalgic, and I miss them days, man, because it just that's where everything made sense. And when you got the chance to know a person, and y'all can pretty much get into a fight, a fist fight. I got into a lot of fist fights with my friends.
Hour.
Yeah, yeah, and at the end of the day, we all be cool. We all be like, okay, we shake hands. Let's go play some Foursquare. Let's go play some curveball or something. But it just don't. You barely see that anymore. And I try to, give my nieces a little taste of just being a kid, because it's like they growing up so fast now. Like, um, we actually enjoyed our childhood. We actually um stayed in our lane. But these kids nowadays, they want to grow up so fast because they just think that, well, I just think that the misconception is when you're an adult, just like when we was growing up, like we had these big expectations of how things was going to be, but we didn't realize that it had to be work. You had to put into, a lot of work into
Yes.
being somebody, and they don't tell you that in career day. Like in career
Oh,
day,
they
they just pretty much try to be, politically correct, and just, try to, I would say give you this Disney fantasy. Like, you're like, hey kids, I'm a fireman. You know how many fires I put out? But don't understand, like, it's physical training, it's boot camp, it's running, it's this, it's that, a lot of books. They don't tell you all of that. And I just think um we need to really sit down with our kids and it just, let them know, like, enjoy your childhood because you only get one childhood. When we get a lot of adult years, you know what I'm saying? Different stages of adult years, but you only get one childhood. Enjoy that.
Yeah, and that's what I try to instill in my kids because I'm like, listen, it's a whole world out here. Like you don't even understand. Like, but yeah, it's a generational thing as well. The generations are different, but they're also exposed to things we weren't exposed to. I mean, we didn't really have computers.
No.
We had technologies, right? We eventually had like the game systems, right? Remember the Sega? That was my favorite one, the little handheld game Sega. So we had things like that, but for the most part, like, we were pretty much outside all day. So we were like using our imagination and, you know, we didn't even have toys sometime outside, right? You just plan and just make up something. Now, you know, after about 30, 40 minutes, every kid is like, I'm bored. And I'm like, how are you bored?
Yeah.
Or like watch TV all day or whatever, anything dealing with technology. And I'm not judging, but what I'm saying is we need to observe that and see how to bring a balance. You see what I'm saying? Because there is a fact that they are in a different time. So we definitely can look at that and accept it, but there are also things to learn from our time as well, you see. And I think that's really what we've gotten away from as society, period. It's just balance. That's all, you know. Everybody wants to be everybody's maker, right? Oh, you need to do stuff like this, you need to do stuff like that. Um, but we're all kind of in our own world and universe, experiencing different things at different times. You know how people say, well, you know, if you were in my shoes, you know, really that's the truth. If you were in somebody else's shoes, you don't know what you do. And it's possible you may end up making the same choices, and it's possible you may not, you know. I think that when you talk about love, love covers that, right? Because when you just love people, you're not too busy trying to make them fit into your box, you see? And this is kind of where society has been, but I feel like we're leaving that and we're moving into a new paradigm where people are just kind of accepting people for who they are, you know? It's slow moving, but I see it happening, you know? And I actually, I know this is gonna sound so hippie like, right? But I actually dropped labels because I'm really not interested in them. Because like I said, you know, you can't really stand in one spot and say forevermore, this is what you will be or where you will be.
Right.
Um, I don't know Lily at 50 years old. You know, I'm not 50 yet. I don't know what I would have experienced or seen or felt or thought by the time I reached that age for me to look at another 50 year old right now and say what they should or shouldn't be doing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So me, it's like I just kind of like have decided like I just don't want to be boxed in. And so I remember hearing people say these things. And that's the funny thing about life too. Sometimes we'll hear people say something or do something and we'll be like, that's so weird. Why they say that or why they do that? And then you arrive to that place in your life and it just makes perfect sense, you know?
Hmm.
Um, like I said, I just all of a sudden rebranded myself and things and it was just something I wanted to do. It was just a part of my personal journey. And, you know, I have my food page, I have my travel page, I have my children have their own page, the Black Love page. Like I said, it seemed like it's a lot, but I have a sisterhood page. One thing I've also noticed is that I feel like while it's our duty to lift each other up, it's also our duty for you to lift the brothers up and for me to lift the sisters up and vice versa because
Yeah.
I need lift, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I feel like that page as well, it also kind of, you know, focuses on the Black woman in particular, but it doesn't leave anyone out because I feel like another issue with the world is that we've been educated on everybody else, but nobody's been educated on us, you see? So I welcome everyone to the page because you can learn things about, you know, the African culture or Black women, how Black women feel, things that we celebrate or say, you know, things like that. I know it's just a page, but I also have a group. But that was the object behind that. And so when I started expanding and thinking about all of these things, that's what I said. I all of a sudden was like, I don't want to be under one brand anymore. I want all of these outlets because they are targeting different things.
Hmm.
But we're also in a day and age where that's necessary, you know. I just recently did my DNA test, and it's so funny because, you know, we've always said, oh, we're all from Africa, you know, things like that. But to actually see it on paper, it was such a greater connection. You see, like before the test, I have, like you can see now, I have my African clothing on. Before the test, I've had African clothing. I grew up celebrating Kwanzaa in church, which I don't see people do anymore. Um, I grew up, I was supposed to go to Africa when I was in the 5th grade, but I was a sickly child. So I was not able to complete that trip. But
Mm-hmm.
I did end up going maybe a few years ago, and it was an amazing experience. So it's always been in me. But when I saw the test, it was a different kind of pride that arose in me, right? Because I'm like, oh, I'm Nigerian. You see, like, I know this now. I knew that anyway, right? But
Mm-hmm.
just see that. And it's funny because when you are kind of like tuned in and tapped in, I had already gave myself a new Nigerian name. And when I got the test back and to see those results, I was like, okay, that's interesting because the spirit was already connecting with me, you know. But I definitely think that when we were stripped of not knowing where we came from, that hurt us a lot, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because it puts a different kind of pride in you. So, I love my first generation African brothers and sisters, but we have different experiences being from America than what they have. You know, when you come here, you know a language, you have customs and cultures that you do, and you have certain foods, right? And we do too, but it's kind of like a byproduct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, we eat chitlins and pig feet. That's a byproduct. That's not something that's historical. That's something that happened during slavery time, and we just kept it going.
Yeah.
And that's been another issue for me because we keep stopping at slavery. What were we doing before that?
Mm-hmm.
Came from great places. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not knocking that, but I'm saying like we keep stopping the ceiling right there, you know. But once you get to know that, then you may do things like that. You may come with a different name, and I'm telling you, got to see the reactions of people because I changed my email, right? So my clients are getting emails and they're like, who is Adaka Akanaka? I'm like, Adea Adenike. They like, I don't know who that is, you know. So it's been funny to see those experiences because people are kind of like looking sideways because they're like, that's not your name, you know, not realizing that, you know, you have the right to embrace your culture whenever you feel like it, you know, whenever you want to. You have a right because it's actually our job. This has been my quote that it is our duty to uphold our culture. It's not a diss to other cultures because people say, well, now everybody's leaving out all the other cultures. No, we're not leaving out other cultures. But just as my Indian friends serve me Indian food, show me their culture. I have friends from Nepal, show me their culture. China, I have my Chinese dress in the closet. I have all of these clothings, but they're upholding their culture. They celebrate their holidays with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Go all out.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it comes to us, it's like a shame sometimes, right? Or people just don't know. Ask about anything. They're like, I don't know, you know, but that's our job. It's not the ABC news channel. It's not their job to show me African clothes and to encourage me to wear African clothes, right? It's not their job to encourage me to learn African foods. You see what I'm saying? That's my job to do that and to show that to my children and to my other family members or vice versa. You see what I'm saying? And that's the part that we are getting lost in.
Yeah, and I agree because also it was a lot of us was already over here too, and I don't stress that enough. Like I just feel like no matter what, we need to just come together. No matter if we're Christian, no matter if we're Muslim, no matter if we're Catholic or what, you know, Israelite or whatever. we all just need to just come together because we all are victims of white supremacy and everything like that. And I just wish that all of us just got on the same boat because we could accomplish to get a lot of stuff together. And I would say, just with the cultures thing that you told me, our culture has been hijacked. Our culture was infiltrated by everybody, and there's no R&B music no more. It's pop. Pop has destroyed R&B. Like the mainstream R&B that we grew up in, like in the '90s, that was on the radio. Like the Lauryn Hills, D'Angelo, Raphael Sadiq, and all these other people. Now you have people who's not black, and then I'm not saying that that they can't do our genre and everything, but they have stole from us. They have recycled certain things. There's so many stories of just people who was like fashion designers, who was musicians and movie stars and this and that. They didn't get their break or never got their credit because of a culture vulture had came and took their stuff and got rich and made millions of dollars off our blood, sweat, and tears. Like if it wasn't for us, man, this world would not be where it is because we have contributed so much. And
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it's our duty. Because do you remember this? I don't see them do it a lot now in schools, but do you remember growing up in our time when it was Black History Month?
mm-hmm.
We learned about people that you don't hear so much about, right? Like if I ask somebody about Dr. King, they'll know him. But if I ask somebody about Ralph Bunche, they'll say, who is that? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But we learned about that, like in school. We learned about who made the stoplight, peanut butter, right? All of these things. That's why I'm saying it is our duty to make sure that we put that out there. Because remember, at one point, the TV used to show, for Black History Month, they used to show lots of different types of movies, right? Not anymore. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's fine. We don't need that. But it's still our job to preserve other things. It's our job to let our children know this is who created this. This is who created that. Matter of fact, I just started rewatching Family Matters, right? Do you remember all that stuff? I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember, but Laura felt the same pride, right? She had the same little glimmer in her eye, and she was like, I'm gonna tell everybody, I can't believe that Black people created all of these things. And when she, went to school and she had like did the billboard, you saw that, and she had
Mm-hmm.
like all people who created this, and it was like awareness for everybody, right? Not just Black people, right? It did make a pride in the Black students, but in the other race students, they were like, wow, so a Black person created this. Oh wow, a Black person created that. And then I don't know if you remember, but the principal, he was also a person of color, and he was getting very nervous because he knew what controversial things
Mm-hmm.
were going to come. And I don't know if you remember, but shortly after that, they started trying to break her spirit, and they had like wrote like the N word across her locker, and just pretty much kind of destroyed her spirit behind that. But these are the things that have happened over time, and we've allowed that to kind of just break our spirits versus saying, no, I'm still going to educate the people around me, right? I'm still going to post on my Facebook, hey, did you guys know that this person invented cabinets, right? I don't know who invented cabinets. I'm just using that. Yeah, right? But it'll be something simple like that. And we like,
Yeah.
wait, a Black person did that? Wow, I didn't even know that. But that's our job to keep this information passing along. You can't look
Absolutely.
to do that for us.
Yeah. And just when I took it upon myself to get involved, like just with the movement and everything, I realized that I couldn't just know about Malcolm X and run with it. I had to really do the research. I really had to figure things out and everything. But it's funny because a lot of people don't know that slavery was still existing even in the 1940s. Like we built the South, like we did. That's why they had all those chain gangs, making them work, free labor and just, what I'm saying, railroads and highways and this and that, accusing them of false crimes and they would never get the chance to see their families. Like we have done so much, and everybody has been compensated, but us. And every time when it's a discussion about reparations of of our people, it's always like a token Negro come and speak to the House of Representatives and talk about, well, we all right, we have prospered, and some of us, some of our families own slaves. And it's not like, even if that's the case, because we don't, like I said, we only know what they taught us in these public schools and everything like that. So it comes a time that we have to like acknowledge somebody, just like you and I, who's are vocally involved and just, wanting the betterment of our people. And about the breaking the spirit thing, like we break each other's spirit all the time because I get criticized all the time because I was doing all of this, the Black History Month facts and this and that, like every day for the 2 years in a row. And I got criticized by my own people. Was like,
Yeah.
oh, why you doing this? Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, damn, like, what y'all expect? Like, I bet y'all care if I was talking about some nonsense. I bet y'all care then. But when I'm trying to educate, you guys and letting people know about, Vivian Thomas, first Black to perform open heart surgery and everything. A lot of people didn't even know about Fred Hampton until that movie came out.
Yeah, yeah.
Even people in Chicago.
Take that for people to know. I'm happy that it happened, but we have everyday people trying to show us. But I think there's also this stigma, right,
Mm-hmm.
where people are a little bit afraid to be looked at as the angry Black person, right, or the Black person that's still talking about that, right? Because I'm going to tell you, in my travels, I've been to about 13 countries. And when I was in Taiwan and I learned about how the Japanese invaded the Chinese and how they overtook their countries, they went through similar things. Women were raped, kids were killed, people's names were forced to be changed. That's why it's such a huge presence there of like Japanese wording and foods and things like that, because that's what happens when somebody kind of overthrows your society. But they feel deep regret for that. But if a person from there wants to talk about it, they just talk about it. You see what I'm saying? We actually just learned about it,
Mm-hmm.
and we were able to be sad, right? And we were able to process those feelings. When I went to Germany, we did a lot of learning about the Holocaust, and we went to the concentration camps, and we were able to like touch on the walls, and you could see where people had carved things in there, like when are the Americans coming, right? So we were like crying, you were able to feel sad, right? But as a Black woman, when I'm in these situations, if I bring up anything about slavery, I've had my cohort say, Laneise, you're talking about that again. Do you see what what we deem as acceptable and not acceptable? And I think that people have become so desensitized to what is in our bloodline as well as ourselves that they don't even realize they're making the condescending remarks, right? So why can I feel for the people in this Holocaust? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just Germany in 2009. You know, why am I able to hold that and go to these concentration camps and take pictures and cry and share that? But then if I'm talking about anything with slavery or the slave trade, everybody looks at me like, oh, here she goes again. You see? So I think that is a part of why maybe people also rejected things that you were saying, right? Also, I think culturally, we laugh our way out of things. You know, we're pretty much kind of the meme culture. I know everybody says, oh my gosh, I hate the internet, right? When something crazy happens.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably Black people making those memes, because we tend to laugh our way out of serious things because we're really hurt behind it, right? You know, so I think that that's a way of kind of not really wanting to address, or maybe not look like the victim. You know, I've had, when I have deep discussions with certain people, not everyone, but with some people about, you know, the disadvantages of what we faced in society and continue to face, because people tend to realize, I mean, to forget that we're still facing things. We still have issues in corporate America. We still have issues at the grocery store. Like, you know, every day you're still reminded that you're a Black person in America. But that's a whole nother subject. But when you do that, I think people want to be so normal, so bad, that they're like, no, that's just you making that up. No, I'm not making that up. You know, this is a reality. And when you start to talk to different people, you know, I have friends who basically you could say are homeless, and I have friends who are possessing their doctorate degree, and they kind of all have the same stories. You see what I'm saying? Just
Mm-hmm.
because of their skin color. It doesn't matter if you're elite or not, you know. But I do think that there are a lot of people that are with us as well. You see, I think a lot of people do empathize with us, but we are definitely always shown the opposite side, because it kind of perpetuates the division. You see what I'm saying? So I can't show you that it's all these different races that support you, because if I show you that, then you will realize that people in America actually care about your disposition. It's only a select amount of people that don't, but those people have the power. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because everyday people I meet on the street, some of them, they are very sensitive to the fact of where I came from. You see what I'm saying? But some of them are not, you know. So I just think, long story short, like I said, it's just our job to keep the awareness, period, you know. And I'm talking about everything, because you're not just gonna hear me talking about slavery or things like that, but I definitely focus a lot on Black issues in America, because I'm a Black woman in America. So those are the most current issues. But I'm talking about all kinds of issues. I'm talking about where we come from pre-slavery, right? You know, you
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm wearing here, you know. So I'm studying dynasties in Africa and things like that. So not just stuff that happened hundreds of years ago. I'm talking about centuries ago. You see what I'm saying? So, and I definitely want to go visit some tombs, because I do believe in energy, and I believe that you can feel things and know things. I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe everything put in the book or taught in the book. I feel like the universe is always communicating with you. And I know that there are like writings on the wall and things like that. I feel like you can get your own interpretation from that. You know, I feel like things can speak to you. So,
Oh, absolutely. And I always wanted to go visit a plantation myself. And everybody, have money to go to these Vegas trips, these out of town trips, and this and that. But I feel like, sometimes you need to, figure out where you came from and stuff. And it just, like you said, energy is powerful. And people stay away from plantations, and to me, I feel like if you go in there to
to heal.
yeah, you are. and I feel like that's
Like,
what all we need. That's all we need. It's healing. Just but first, before we can heal, from the outer limits, we got to heal from the inner limits as well.
mm-hmm.
Just we just need to sometimes sit down with our parents and talk. Because my mother, um, I ain't gonna try to put her on the bus or anything, but I felt like when it came down to me, I felt like she didn't know what to do with me, and I had to pretty much go and shoot venture off. And people don't really know what someone's going through, and it's always like judgment. It's always a assumption about how a person was raised. But like, well, I know your mother didn't raise you like that, and this and that. And I told her like it was times where I didn't have my mother. It was times that I had to feel for myself, and she did the best she could. But I'm not bitter. I turned out fine. I turned out all right. But it's just when you're a man, when you're 18 years old, graduate high school, and you see people going to college, you going to school, and you become homeless out here, and you just like damn, like because everyone don't know that reality. Like when they come home and stuff and go to bed, it was times that I had nowhere to sleep. It was times I had to go find somewhere to sleep, and it was so cold. It was like bugs crawling on me, and sleeping in cars and just wondering where I was gonna go to take a wash up at, what I'm saying, so I won't stink and this and that. So when people just talk about me and this and that and talk about certain people, like what would you do if you was in my shoes and stuff? And I done things that I wasn't proud of, but hey, survival is real, and it just we get just so ahead of ourselves sometimes, like because we all been through bad times. We all been through worse times. But I would say that I was able to come out successfully. Um, Not a statistic, not somebody who wants to hurt nobody, rob anybody, shoot anybody. I say to myself, I'm cool, calm, collective. You know, I told myself that I don't want to be a college dropout no more. I went back to school. So I turned those excuses to changes. And that's what we need to do is stop making excuses to start changing and start healing and go to, you know, places that we wasn't even planning on going. Cause, you know, cause I heard like the key thing that you said, that people told you that you shouldn't do this and people told you that you shouldn't have done that. They told me that too at 19. And you know what? I didn't want to go to school no more. I was done. Cause I was like, damn, I went to one of the most ghettoest high schools in Saginaw, Michigan, and I come to college, Delta College, just to get criticized, just to get mocked, just to get judged, just to get discriminated. Cause I felt like I was just being targeted at the time. Cause my professor didn't talk to anybody else like that, but he talked to me like that. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gone. But as I got older and everything like that, I realized like, look, I gotta be an example. I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing this for me. I gotta build my portfolio, my credibility up, and this and that, because people pay attention to the accolades that you receive and this and that, and we gotta, you know, we gotta start, chasing excellence. We gotta start chasing things that are just horrible, and we came a long way. I feel like from the Jim Crow era and this and that, we came a long way. But I would say that we still have a lot of work to do, and we need to really stop um, comparing our struggles because I go through things, you go through things. How about we just have a summit? What's wrong with that? You know, because it's a lot of things I don't know about black women, but I talk to a lot of black women, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned a lot. I was raised by a black woman, so I'm gonna marry a black woman. I'm gonna have kids by a black woman. Shoot, like can't tell me otherwise. But doesn't mean I don't love all women, but I know what I want. I know my worth. So people can take it or leave it. But I just found y'all very um just y'all so strong, like, and people like to you know make that a negative. But to me, I feel like, man, I couldn't learn what I know now. It's just from my mom, because y'all make a way out of no way, and to me, I gained that. I inherited that from my mom, because when things is tough, and you know y'all don't create babies by yourself, and I also got to talk about the toxicity in these mothers sometimes. Like, man, I don't, I understand it, I get it, because I was that kid, and I watched my mom. She didn't never really showed it. She never told us that we was a burden and this and that. But until I got older, she was like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't ask for this to happen. And we need to stop doing that. And I'm just speaking in general, like we really need to stop doing that. We need to stop saying that, oh, I need a break, I need a, I just need to get away. I'm like, none of us asked to be here. Like, this is not, you know, kids is not a job. It's their responsibility. They're precious. They're innocent. You know, blessings. And we need to stop saying that, because you don't know what you're doing to that kid. Because that kid didn't ask to be here. The kid don't even remember when he first came out the womb, and then you already condemning him. And also, I just want just for everybody to do good. I just want everybody to win, but don't try to sabotage my win because you don't like how I move. Because it's enough growth for everybody. It's enough food for everybody. It's enough money for everybody. Everybody can become anything they want to be. It's just a lot of envy amongst our people, amongst our communities, and because everybody wants to be right, instead of taking our gifts. Like the show, the Super Friends. The superheroes and stuff.
No, I haven't seen it.
Well,
You don't have to inbox it to me.
okay. Well, basically, it was like a group of superheroes: Batman, Superman, the Wonder Twins, the Flash, Aquaman, and they all played a role. So Batman, couldn't be Superman, and Aquaman couldn't be Batman, but they all utilized their gifts and their powers, and they all used to battle all these enemies. But I'm saying is that whatever your gifts are, and whatever my gifts are, and the next 10 people gifts are, we can take this over. We can overcome whatever transpire. But everybody want to do it their own way. And even me, even when I met this show, I realized that I was going to need people. I couldn't become a success without my people. And I knew where to go, and I knew who to talk to. I knew who to network and this and that. Because I realized that even though I'm the creator and I own the rights to the show and this and that, this is a show for us. This is for our people, and I'm grateful because we can have these type of conversations and this positive energy. Like, man, because all this love and hip hop stuff and Black Ink and um whatever toxic black show, man, that's all they showcase. And I'm so tired of that, because we all don't act like that. We
That's why
are
I,
civilized.
because realistically, people are definitely still gonna put energy into those shows. But I feel like the balance of anything in life is being able to refill your spirit with positive things as well, you know, because yeah, if you've already always watching a show where they throwing drinks in each other's faces, subconsciously you don't even realize how it makes you start to devalue yourself or others, you see. But when you kind of refill your spirit with positive things, right, that's your balance, you see.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I wanted to address two things that you mentioned. The first being when you was talking about how you feel like Black women are strong, and I definitely appreciate that narrative because I agree with that. I've been in lots of situations, and like you said, it's not really a comparison because although maybe I never faced homelessness, it doesn't mean that I didn't have struggles, right? Or have
Hmm.
really hard times. And sometimes I have felt in the past to belittle my story because it wasn't as intense of a story like that. But there's somebody else that have a similar story as me, right? That needs to hear that. So that's why I had to clear that throat chakra and open up and speak. And, you know, I know that this is not every woman's story, but I feel that for Black women, and I think even for Black men sometimes, and you guys may not even notice it, that the narrative of being the strong woman is so embedded in all of us that we forget that we still are women. I'll give an example. Now, I'm not just speaking from me. I have about 4 or 5 friends that I've had this very in-depth conversation about. Um, but sometimes we are looked at as so strong that simple things like helping us with something is overlooked because it's like, oh, she got it, right? You see what I'm saying? Or you you're not able to have that vulnerability that you need, right?
Hmm.
The lady that does my eyebrows, I think she's Vietnamese or something, but she doesn't have any children. She's married, and she's like, I like having a husband because if I have a bad day, I can just go to my husband and cry. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, and if a family member gets hurt or dies, I can just cry. I was like, wow. No, I'm listening to the power in that statement because as Black women, a lot of times we cry in the shower. If we can even cry. I remember going through a whole season where I couldn't even formulate tears because it's so expected for you to be strong that
Hmm.
sometimes, I'm not saying all Black men. I never say all because there are always categories.
Hmm.
But sometimes the men look at you like, why you being weak right now? See what I'm saying? Like it takes away you having that feminine essence of being able to fall into your man's arms and cry, you know? Or like I've had situations, okay, you know me personally. Everybody doesn't know me, but I've had situations where you know I have a house, a car, and I own several businesses. So men look at me like she can do it. So when I say things like you've not treated me, you know, like I'm looking like, do you buy me a massage? Do you take me out? Do you do? And I'm not expecting the whole relationship to revolve around that, right? You know, but I'm just looking like, why do I always have to have it? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it takes away from my femininity. You see what I'm saying? It's like I always got to act in a masculine. And that bothers me sometimes because I do like that narrative of being strong, but I don't want it to overshadow that I'm still feminine. I'm still a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it goes both ways. It's on the, I say, it's both sides of the coin. Because for me, I didn't know how to really be masculine until I started to have mentors, male mentors, and everything. Because I didn't have a masculine presence in my household. Because I was raised with women. Because my older brother was already out the house, and I had my sister and my mom. So when I started to have mentors and this and that, So people would just always just will expect me to just, like do man things. And I had to really teach myself how to become one because I didn't really have a male positive role model in my life. And it takes to see a man to want to become a man. And that's why a lot of men don't really know how to become men. Because
That's it. And that's exactly the conversation that I had with my friends. Of course, we were just all women discussing that, but we were saying that sometimes that is the bigger issue. But what's funny is, I don't even think that you guys realize that you'll get a woman from another race, not you in particular, but you'll get a woman from another race and you'll treat her though. You'll put her up. She won't have to work, for example, or whatever it is. You get what I'm saying?
mhm,
So it's something in your head too, where it's like, oh, the black woman, she's strong, she got it. But then another woman comes along, white, Asian, Mexican, whatever, and she's taken care of. Like, maybe it's what she commands or demands. I'm not exactly sure, but I've noticed that narrative too. So we have to be really cautious with that. I've had a good friend just recently say that, well, us black men are out here trying to fight for y'all and be y'all warriors. And I said, yeah, you can do that, but don't forget to be our man too. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
mhm,
it's all good. Like, you definitely want a man that's gonna prepare. He's gonna fight. He's gonna have a home taken care of. Protected, whatever. But you can't forget. Oh, you better say it. Jaheim just popped in my head. I forgot to be a lover. You can't forget to be a lover. You can't be so into this fight mode, regardless of what society has done to you, that you forget to be a lover. And sometimes that happens, Will. And in
mhm,
those cases, unfortunately, you miss out. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that lesson won't come back around. And then the next time, maybe you'll remember. You see what I'm saying? Because we still are learning here. So I do get that. But as a man, you have to be careful to say, not you in particular, I'm speaking generally. You have to be careful to say, well, I didn't know that. Yeah, you're right. You didn't know that. And that's why you missed it with that one. You see what I'm saying? But when you know better, you do better. Then when you learn, you get it. But
mhm.
stop trying to pretend like you were always the greatest. You see what I'm saying? Because our black men haven't always been good to us. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I want to zone in and focus on that. But just as we talking about, oh, go to your parent or go to your grandparent or go to your Uncle Johnny that be molesting the kids in the family, let's speak the truth. Our fathers, our grandfathers, our uncles, they've not always been great to us. Now, I've not had those issues, but I'm just speaking facts. So if we're gonna pull it out, let's put all the cards on the table. But then where do we go from here? You see what I'm saying? But I think this is one of the issues on why the black man and the black woman have such a combative tone at times, because the black man's so busy trying to get the woman to see all the things that he didn't get because of his childhood and because of society. And the black woman is trying to get the black man to see, because you didn't do your job or you didn't protect me, this is the way I am. But we have to try to understand both sides. And we have to be honest about both sides. And then we have to evolve from there. You see what I'm saying? But we also have to be careful with bashing, because I feel like you don't know my journey. You don't know what I've experienced dating wise. You don't know who I've dated, right?
Mhm,
Unfair for you to tell me that I need to raise somebody. Do you understand what I'm saying?
mhm.
You don't know how many times I may have or may not have done that. So we have to be careful with bashing the woman who's ready for the man to come to her together. Do you see what I'm saying? You want him to be able to know how to pay his bills, to maybe know how to maneuver through society, have a bank account or not. It depends. You got to know what's going on with the person. The things that get you around in life. If you don't have a license, why? What do you need to take care of? Do you need to set up a payment plan with the state, get things done? Do you see what I'm saying? But we come down on the Black woman when she feel that way, right? Like, okay, I want a man to have his stuff together. And it's like, oh, you a gold digger. What? I have children. If I have children and I have my stuff together, why do I want a man that's all over the place? I'm not saying he's a bad guy though. But why do I want that type of energy? Because a lot of times somebody can possess a good heart, but when you try to show them, it's almost like you become that mother figure for them. And that's why you'll have that situation. I know you've heard women say this. Once he got better, what did he do? He skedaddled. Because it was like she raised him. You see what I'm saying? And that's not every case, but you know, sometimes we have to find it through other resources. Like you said, you got mentors. They're supposed to be brothers looking back, helping other brothers. Brother, you don't have a bank account? Let me show you how to open one up. Oh, you got to fix your credit? Let me hook you up with somebody that can give you a payment plan to get you on the fast track. My brother, you don't got no license, you don't have a car, let me help you get these things. You understand what I'm saying? It's not to bash you, but how can you approach a woman with 2, 3, or even 4 children and you have nothing? I'm just really frustrated with society making us feel some kind of way when you have things together and you want the man to have things together. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like as a woman, if I were all over the place like this, I would want to get stuff together first. Do you see what I'm saying? Let me take care of me, try to get things in order before I bring somebody in this chaos. Those are things we don't want to talk about, because when people are not together, we like have a fair chance. Yes, they do, but maybe there are things that you need to put your energy into working on so you can become a whole person, so you can find another whole person. Do that make any sense?
Oh, absolutely. And for one, I only have one mom, so I don't need another mother. And two, it,
Exactly.
and two, it goes both ways because a lot of women. Well, I can only speak on my experiences. Um, I can take care of myself. I don't need a woman to take care of me. I need a woman to be there for me. I need someone to love me, to cherish me, to appreciate me. And a lot of these women, I'm gonna be honest. I've been friend zoned so many times, and that's cool. That's fine. But it's just the fact that you would see a chick just start dating some lame ass dude, and he mistreats her. He steal her money out her purse. He eating all of her kids' fruit snacks, and it's a whole bunch of fuck shit. And here you are responsible. You going to work every day. You staying out of trouble. You have your own business. You goal oriented, and she wants you. She don't want you. You know what I'm saying? And I have dealt with that. I have dealt with a lot of women talking about I was corny because I read. You know, intellectual, and they say I was corny. They say I was boring, and I won't say I was born. I was just being myself and everything like that. But it just can't get to the point that people go to what they're familiar to, and
Yeah, and they're broken.
yeah,
So that's why they're doing that. You know, that's why, because why would you want someone to mistreat you like that? Why would you want somebody stealing out of your purse, eating all your children's food? You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said our community needs a lot of healing, a lot of therapy, and as you stated, a lot of love. Um, I think we need more people becoming more mentors, if it's possible. More people taking more people under their wing, and I do understand that a person has to be receptive to that too, because it goes both ways. But those are stories of broken people.
hmm
What I'm saying, because like you said, on your end, here you are, you have things together, but then people call you lame for that, but that's not lame.
yeah,
So like that tells me, elevate that circle. You see what I'm saying?
hmm
Start at um bigger prizes. You see what I'm saying? Because that was something that I had to work through, because I look at people by their heart. I judge people by their heart. And sometimes that's gotten me into a lot of trouble, because the facts are sitting right in my face. But I'm like, no, this is a good, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like in the movies they've been showing us this. Do you remember? Did you just see this new movie, Behind Her Eyes?
I've been hearing about it, but not yet.
Too many things, especially if other people are on and haven't seen it. But in that movie, did you see the Bird Box?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Do you remember what essentially happened? Like, they let somebody in the house and it destroyed the home. So these are just two movies I'm naming, but in multiple movies, what I've been seeing is we're moving into a time where you can't help everybody.
No.
And we're trying so desperately, oh, this is a good person, or what if it were me? And I say that. I'm like, well, if I didn't have a bank account and I didn't have things together, I wouldn't want somebody to judge me off of that, right? Yes, that's true, but that's a tricky situation there. Because what did these people do to land them? What did these people do to land them in this position? So what that's telling me is you can't help everybody. Sometimes things have to be discernment, because how many stories have we seen where a person did see past certain things and they rose together? You see what I'm saying? That's why you have to have a discernment. When that girl opened that door in the movie, she just opened it. Because what was the first thing she said? She said she remembered when she was on the other side of the door. So she worked off of sorrow. That was an emotion. She worked off that emotional trait.
Hmm.
Well, I'm a pregnant woman. If you guys would have left me out there, I don't know what I would have done. She didn't use sound judgment. And she let the man in and he destroyed their whole entire camp. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to be mindful of helping each other. We want to help each other, right? But we have to realize a lot of times we're in these situations that we're in for a reason. And
Hmm.
sometimes we work through them before we start trying to bring people in on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's just certain things um, a person have to experience in order to understand it. Because everybody isn't going to get it, and everybody isn't going to relate. And even with myself, um, I quit having expectations, high expectations over people, and I've been good. So it's like I'm no longer disappointed. I no longer feel dependent on them because I already pretty much expect what they're going to do. And ever since I stopped having high expectations over people, they have proven me right. I haven't had anyone that could live up to my standards. But also, I just think that a lot of us operate off emotion than logic and common sense as well. And you also have to, you know, go with helping people with a 50-50 mentality because chances are, they either going to remember you and pay homage or just show their appreciation to you, or they going to screw you or use you or destroy you. So with the 50-50 mentality, it's just it's also a hindrance because you have this type of paranoia with you, like okay, because I used to let I had like a couple girlfriends. I let them at home by themselves when I went to work, and I would have been so paranoid coming home to an empty house, But when a dude when a dude let a female in his home by herself, he loves her. He trusts her. A lot of y'all don't know that because that's man. That's man. That's man one on one. If a man leaves you in his home by yourself for hours at a time, he cares about you. He loves you. He trusts you. Don't hurt that man. That's the final test to see if a man really care about you. If he let you into his home while he at work for hours.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I just think that when it comes to relationships, we operate off expecting somebody to notice, or expecting somebody to operate, or expecting somebody to think like we think. And we just one person. We all human. We all have seven deadly sins. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's perfect. And I just think when it comes to like relationships and marriage, you know, a lot of people don't want to learn or just accept who they, you know, what a person is. They go by potential a lot. And to me, you can't make a person do what they don't want to
No,
do.
and that's what I was saying. That's what I'm saying. Like the reality of things is you can't just look at that. You have to kind of be reasonable about realistic things, right? Potential is a very dangerous thing. Like I said, to me, it reminds me of winning the lottery because in some cases, some people work through it
Hmm.
and they say, see, like, you know, when this person met me, I was 500 pounds and we worked out together and look at me now. But that's not always the case because maybe it's the habits that put that person on that path to be that way. Habits are not easily broken. So
Mm-mm.
we get together and all day I'm yelling at you. Why are you eating this? Stop eating. You don't care about your heart. When we went to the doctor, they said you're gonna die in a year. And then we arguing all the time. But guess what? There was a reality before you got with that person. They were already showing you habits. It didn't make them a bad person though.
Mm-mm.
But those are things that they needed to work through to become a better person. So like I said, they can be a whole person. Because when we are participating in these things, a lot of these are our demons, our unhealed trauma, our unhealed past, right? But that's what I'm saying. We don't want to acknowledge that. We just want to say, oh, I'm a good-hearted person. Yeah, you can be good-hearted, but what are things that you need to work through to be a better mate, to be a better person for yourself as well, to be a better parent? You know, these are things that I ask myself all the time, you know, and I really feel like the biggest thing that bothers me is people saying, oh, don't worry about that. We can work on that. Everything is not always something that can be worked on together. Some things you have to work on by yourself, but some things you
Hmm.
do need the community, right?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So you just have to kind of decide what that looks like, you know, for you.
Yeah. And like I said, I know my demons. You know, I'm a drinker, smoker, but that doesn't take away the fact um, I'm just human. Like, quit expecting so much out of me. Like, I know what I need to do. I know me, and I also know what my limitations are because I do my stuff at home. You know, in my own house, where I pay my bills and this and that. Not out here hurting nobody, but it's just we always get in somebody else's business instead of fixing ourselves. Instead of looking ourselves in the mirror, we always in everybody else's business, and I could care less about what a person doing. Like if it ain't, I don't even have people around me that has a sixth grade reading level. Like that's how much I keep. Um, I keep a particular crowd around me. You know, because I'm around bosses. I'm around people that's doing something that's ambitious as me, and I just and I understood that you know you're not going to be successful with a triangle or a rectangle or an octagon or a pentagon. None of that. You know, you're going to be successful with um with a positive like just people who's motivational and people who's encouraging. Like, you know, old habits don't open up new doors. And and just with habits, um, I would say kids, are sponges. Whatever they see you do, they're gonna do it. And then, you can't get mad at a kid who soaked up what you did and start doing it. And you can't give them an after school special and talk about, oh, you shouldn't be smoking or you shouldn't be drinking. I'm like, oh, you don't want to talk, mom, or you don't want to talk, dad, because shoot, I saw you smoke crack and stuff, like, but it's just stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, you can't be politically correct. You can't be biased. If you love somebody, you gotta let them know, like, look.
Okay, I'm back.
But I'm just saying, like, if you love somebody, because when I talk to my niece, my oldest niece, and everything, she just think that I'm just the best, and she always checks up on me because um, she's like, Uncle Will, you okay? I know that things hasn't really been the same for you, and I just care about you so much, and you are so strong, and I just tell her like, look, honey, like, I am so messed up, but I love you, but I'm not superhuman. I'm a man. I'm a 33-year-old man that had to figure life out for himself, and I'm still figuring it out because it's just I have so much pressure on me. Everyone thinks I'm a leader. Everybody thinks that I can't mess up or I can't make mistakes like everybody else. That I'm supposed to have some type of knowledge and of what to do or what not to do and stay clear and this and that. But I'm like, dang, like that's shoot, that's what make people don't want to be a leader because it's too much pressure. It's too much stress. And to me, I feel like we really need to stop doing that to people. Leaders are
Yeah.
leaders are men. Leaders are women. It's okay, but this cancel culture now, man. Like they quick to crucify
They
you when you think
uh,
differently.
yeah. But
And,
I do the same thing to my kids though. Like I don't know who invented that where people think that mommy is invincible. Absolutely not. I will say in a minute, like, you know what? Today I don't feel good. And it's for various reasons. I don't always go into detail. Or I'll say, you know how you have friends and you like to play with your friends and hang out with your friends. They'll say, yeah. And I say, I have friends too, and I like to talk to my friends today, and I might be on the phone a few hours, or I'll say, I want to hang out with my friends, or, think about, I'll say, because I'm a single parent, so I'll say, when you get sick, who takes care of you? And they'll say, you. And I said, but when I get sick, who takes care of me? And they're like, nobody. They don't really think about it, but I bring it to their reality because if I'm not upholding the perfect standard that you want me to uphold as a parent, I want you to know that I'm human. You see what I'm saying? I need you to know today I just don't want to do that, or today I don't feel like that, or today I want to do this over this. Like, I think I have my own life, I have my own choices, my own desires, and I'm very vocal and upfront about that. One thing they will never be mistaken on is me being human. If I need to cry, I'll cry. I'll say you hurt my feelings. I'm just honest. We're not gonna do that robotic stuff.
no,
I'm not. Some people don't want their kids to feel anything, but then when they get in the world, they fall apart because the world don't care. The world is not gonna pat you on the back. They're gonna give you that E. If you fail your class, you're gonna get an E.
right.
If you flunk too many times, I think it's 2 times with financial aid you mess up, you
Hmm.
get kicked out. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna say, oh well, you are so cute, so we'll give you another shot, and
Shit.
that's what I was saying. So I think that sometimes parents fail their kids with that, because that's not reality, but that doesn't mean you can't provide them with the best possible environment. But I do provide a good environment, but it's realistic. And one thing about my kids, they know I like to travel. I was just talking to my grandma about that today. I'm like, I like to travel. It's deeper for me. It's not just a hobby. It's how I heal. It's how I reset. It's just stuff that I like to do. And just because the whole world could not like to travel, but that's the whole world. I'm talking about me and what I like and what I desire. I'm never going to dim my light again. I've dimmed my light before, not in the travel area, but in various areas. And I'm never dimming my light again for the sake of other people. Like, I won't do it. I like what I like. Like you said before, you have your vices too. Everybody have things that they do. It's just not always the same thing. So we're in a culture where people try to make you feel bad about it because, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so you might work 80 hours a week. So you're away from home, but maybe I'm traveling. We're doing the same thing, but you're looking at mine as a bad thing, right? Because you're bringing in money. How do you know that I'm not working too? You see what I'm saying? You don't really know what I'm doing. Um, Facebook, not even just Facebook, social media has distorted those images. I could be on a work trip. I don't always have to say I'm on a work trip.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to do that. Sometimes I might, sometimes I might not. You don't really know what I'm doing. I could have had to go somewhere to help someone for an emergency purpose. Maybe that person didn't want their business out there. Maybe I didn't put it out there. You just look up and you see me in Canada, right? And you like, oh, she in Canada? So when you was talking about how people try to tear people down, the first comment is, you always somewhere. You don't know what I'm doing and why I'm there. And I get that a lot. When people really don't even take the time to get to know you.
No,
It's just that simple.
exactly. Because I surprise a lot of people. I don't know what people perceive me as, but I would say back in March of last year when the George Floyd stuff was happening, I had this Asian doctor come to me on my job, and she looked at me. She was like, "Oh my gosh, it's just so sad. It's just so disturbing." And I had no, I'm so sorry. I had no idea that y'all go through that. I was like, "What's this y'all shit? Like, what you trying to say? Like, all black people get killed by the police?" And I just kind of like, you know, I was respectful, but I was just like, you didn't know or you didn't care because it didn't involve you. And she was like, be honest, I didn't care because
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. But now, just to see that with my very eyes, and I could tell that she was being very,
Very
um,
sincere.
yeah,
Yeah.
sincere and genuine and whatever. But that's not what we pushing for. And I just think that we just need to stop um rallying people up whenever something happens, and really, like, start playing our position. Like, everybody wasn't in them streets getting bit by dogs and getting hit with billy clubs and this and that. Cause shoot, I don't care what Dr. King said. You hit me with a rock or a billy club, I'm swinging. I'm going in. But I'm just saying, like, just we all need to just, whatever um is our lane. We all need to stick to our lane.
Yeah.
We all need to stick to our guns. We need to stop trying to always rise above our stations. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not, telling people to just, stay stagnated. But I'm just telling people, like, everything doesn't always have to be bloodshed. All wars and battles wasn't won on, just with bloodshed. Or some battles just took, just reading the book and learning the laws and other things.
That's That's where the change happens. Policy.
Hmm.
People need to change policy, change the laws, you know. Those are avenues. And I have friends that work on things like that, you know. So like you said, they may not be right at the forefront with a BLM sign, you know, outside, but you don't know what they're working on behind the scenes, you know.
Yeah, it just to me, I feel like we also just need to just stop, um, competing with our blackness. And I understand, you're gonna be what you grew up around, your environment, your habitat, and you get the conservatives, you get the liberals, and stuff like that. Um, I'm not upset with anybody who grew up in the suburbs or grew up in the circumstances that they had no control over. But I'm saying that we all just need to just have a discussion about certain things because we all get discriminated against, and I just think that we all um can just learn from each other. From the college graduate, from the crackhead, like you know.
Man, I watch kid cartoons and I learn something, right? I feel like every moment is something we can learn from. You know, every moment, every opportunity, every conversation, even the ones we deem negative. Have you ever read The Alchemist?
Hmm.
So think about The Alchemist or think about what an alchemist is. You know, so you take those negatives and turn them into a positive. So even if you had a negative experience, you know, what can you do from that? How can you grow from that? You know, what can you challenge yourself to be better because that situation occurred, you know?
And it starts with us. It starts from within. Um, like I told people, I had to find myself. I had to forgive some things. I had to heal within myself because I was walking around with a broken heart, and a lot of people get that, mixed up with a broken heart and broken. Everything, doesn't have to, a heart doesn't just get broken. Your mind get broken too.
Yes.
And I had both of those. And I still have a broken heart, but my mind is tact. My mind is just, has been rebuilt and came back and and I just want everybody to just, whatever they meant to do on this planet or this realm or whatever, I just want everybody to just reach their full potential, man. Because it's all start with our idea. It all starts from within ourselves, and I knew that I couldn't have something like this if I didn't get myself together first. If I didn't get no help, if I didn't admit that I was hurt, and I was grateful for my homeboy Kevin Warren because he told me the truth. Like everybody was like a yes man. Like, man, you good, man. Nothing wrong with you, man. You good. He was the first person who was like, man, you hurt, but it's okay. I'm like, man, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I was about to fight. I was like, man, who the hell is you telling me I'm hurt? You don't know me. But he was just like, you hurt, bro. I've been there, man. You needed to get some help. So I realized that, what kind of work he does because he mentors kids. So that, kind of changed the whole um, dynamic after that because that's when I started inboxing him and I was like, so what makes you say I'm hurt? He's like, because I could see it. I could see it in your statuses. I could see in your posts that you're hurt. And,
Wow.
and I was just, and it was just like, man, this dude had never met me before in my whole life, but he just knew it. And it was just like, sometimes we just need people to be honest with us. Like, and me and him so cool. And even when I go back and look at my Facebook stories or like my memories or whatever, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I was so angry. I was crazy. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? And I understood. And and I feel so much better now. People coming up to me like, man, you're like your Facebook's so different now, man. It's so positive, and I just like, man, it wasn't easy. It's just I'm grateful for that brother and everybody else, man, because um we really found out who love us, man, while we in our dark place. We all have a little well a little breaking point, and I have reached my breaking point because it really be difficult, navigating in this world without the man. That meant a lot to me because that's what broke me. I'm like the last son. I'm the last male from my childhood that's living, and it's hard because a lot of times I be missing. I be missing my father. I be missing my brother a lot, and I got to figure things out for myself. It's scary sometimes. I scare a young man because a lot of people don't really understand. Like I'm still young, even though I'm 33. I'm still young. I'm still figuring this out, and everybody just expects me to have all the answers. I don't. But whatever I do know, I always try to pass it on. I always try to, lift somebody else up. But I also realize to set boundaries and protect my energy, and just also just don't lie to people, because sometimes people just think when you go without speaking to them and talking to them that think you're being funny. Like no, like I'm being attacked. It's a spiritual warfare I'm fighting too. So if anything, I really always admired you. I always knew that you was different from the moment before I even met you in person. Like I was like, man, this person is like successful and smart and using all these big words and stuff like that. Who is she? So I just always knew um, that you marched on the beat of your own drum, and I feel like that's what got us cool because I'm the same way.
Yeah, agreed. And the fact that Capricorn is in common.
Oh man, we get a bad rep, man. I get a Everybody always talk about, oh, you a Capricorn, like, oh man, they do this, and I'm like, man, what? I'm like, that's cool, I ain't I ain't toxic or anything like that, I just I'm myself, I just be um very tutorial, and because I have such a big heart, man,
Yeah,
and I just
I can relate on that.
yeah, I have such a big heart, like I you know help people so much before I even helped myself, and
Exactly.
I had to stop doing that.
That is out of balance.
Yeah, I had to stop doing that. So when I stopped
Yep.
doing that, I've been so happy because like the people that's in my life now, um, they're not, taking advantage of me. If anything, like they're my healing circles, and
Mm-hmm.
and everybody can't stay as well. And I just give everyone advice, because people use that friend word irresponsibly. Just like they say drink responsibly, use that word friend responsibly, and you will be all right. You will be fine once you stop putting high expectations on people because you already know what to expect. Just like when you told them yes 1,000 times, when you tell them no that one time, that's when their true selves will come out. That's when their true nature gonna come out. When you hold them accountable, when you get in their face and let them know that you're not gonna be disrespecting me no more. Hey, I'm not. I don't feel like playing with you today, type thing. And that's who
Yeah,
know you dealing with. So,
exactly.
so
And see, and that's funny that you were talking about that because that was something that I had to gain too. And that's something we definitely had to like. I was not very careful with my boundaries. You know,
Hmm.
I would just give and give and give. And you know how they say you can't pour from an empty cup? Listen, I had 3 cups that were empty and I was still giving. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That is so unhealthy. And as soon as you set those boundaries and you tell people like no, or I'm not going to be able to do that, or that doesn't work for me, you're right. That is where you have the clash. But I feel like from there you can start to maneuver with the correct friendships that will excel you to the next level. I mean, to me, that's really all that does for me. Like I don't worry about it anymore. Um, I know who I am. I know my intentions,
Hmm.
and I know that you can't help and be there for every single body in this world. You really will miss your purpose doing that as well. Because if you have given, and you're so exhausted, maybe it's a book you're supposed to write, but you never can get to that book because you're always drained because all you do is give. That is out of balance. That's not, oh, you're such a good person. That's manipulation. Because what about your purpose here? Like you said, it's some imprint you're supposed to leave on this world. But if you're always caught in other people's drama, you can never get to that.
Hmm. And I just think that people also be motivated in spurts. You know, they don't be fully committed until um, tragedy strikes. Cause I ain't gonna lie, like before my brother passed away, I wasn't really taking life seriously. You know, I was being a little, cautious, and going to clubs and shopping, and doing all the stuff, as a working man does. Be able to live a little. But I had to really sit myself down, like when that stuff happened, and then just everybody who I was in the pictures with at the clubs and this and that, everybody was leaving, everybody disappeared, everybody abandoned me, and that really hurts. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like kind of like, dang, like where do I go from here? And sometimes I don't want anybody else to have to experience that in order to get the message or get God's intention. Because God, just like a parent, God is our parent, but just like any parent, they go tell you once or they go show you twice, but that third time you on your own. Like
Okay.
so I've been in situations that I could have been killed. I could have been locked up or this and that. But also it's just he won't give up on us either. He is merciful. Human beings isn't merciful. Human beings are not um forgiving like that. So, but like I said, I just want to just give people a chance to just um watch my struggle or watch my work and stuff like that, because the struggle is the best part of the story. Because what I'm saying, everybody listening, they be like, okay, this person went to Yale, okay, they grew up in Beverly Hills, okay, so what was their first heartbreak, or what they had to go through, what kind of adversity, what was the humble beginnings like. That's what makes the story. It's your struggle. Without struggle, there's no progress. So, and I feel myself. We all, you and I both evolved from when we first met,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it just, um, the people who doesn't evolve and the people that's still the same after 5 years of knowing them, get a fuck away from them. Get the fuck away from them, because they gonna bring you down. Because
Yeah.
you don't need them around you, because they, you used to be around a person. Well, let's just say like you've been working somewhere for like 5, 10 years. If that person's still the same person from when you first started your first day of work there, you don't need to be around them. And that was the best advice I've gotten so far, was the fact that you're not going to grow with you're not going to become a butterfly being around caterpillars.
Mm.
And you never saw a butterfly wanted to go back to be a caterpillar because they're gonna fly. They gonna be like, okay, I'm gone. You see my wings. You see me. I'm buzzing now, like, zzz, you know what I'm saying? Like caterpillar, they just quiet. You know what I'm saying?
Please.
You know, they're not doing. They're not important. You kill some of them because you barely notice them. But a butterfly, he can be like, zzz, you know what I'm saying? Irritate you and stuff like that. But that's what
But
I'm saying.
can't come down on the caterpillar's journey though.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying,
Perfect.
but I'm just saying, like, we can't, we are in our 30s now. We can't go back to infants. You know, um, when Alzheimer's happens, when dementia happens, we will. You know, and I'm not saying that we're going to get it, but I'm just saying that that's pretty much like the only way we can go back to that stage. But physically, we can't. You know, but that's why it's just really important to um, figure out what you're good at and what you can do, and then to go from there. Um, and stop, you know, chasing after a blessing that wasn't meant for you. My blessing, and my gift, God gave it to me. Even if you killed me, you can't have my gift. You can't have my blessing.
All yours, and that's why it's so important that people are able to, like you said, leave whatever mark it is they have to leave on this earth, because nobody else will ever possess that.
Mm-mm.
Certain people hear your voice and they listen. Some people don't. Some people see your face and they watch. You see, those individuals are solely for you. That path is solely for you. Because all you're doing is sparking things in people, really. Because, everything's already in us. We know everything. So that's why sometimes we're watching something or seeing something or doing something and we just feel drawn to it because it was already there, already in us.
Absolutely. And I'm just trying to show people that you can get it without having to sell your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's going to be tough because I'm doing it with integrity. So I know it's going to take longer than the ones that have to be stupid and idiotic. But I'm willing to do all that. I don't care if it takes me 10 years to get to like a good platform or whatever. But it just, to me, having you guys come on my show, I learned a lot from y'all. Like y'all really helped me out. Just telling y'all stories and everything like that. I just became just such a happy person. Like I'm like, man, I don't care how tired I be from working and stuff like that. Shoot, this is my drug. I gotta get my fix and stuff like that. And it's just a wonderful feeling.
And I'm going to challenge you as the master manifester. I want you to change your confession as my challenge to you. Because just because you're doing it with integrity doesn't mean that it has to take a long time. We know that is typically the path.
Hmm.
Typically, it does equal long terms. But you have the power of word, you have the power of thought that may or may not be your path. So just think about only what you want. What do you see out of it? How do you envision it? Smell it, see it, taste it, touch it, right? Like, hear it, right?
Oh,
But you
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah. I'm sorry. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
you see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You have to put that whole entire vision on there. Like you see, lots of doors are opening up. I had a conversation with a great friend this morning, and we were talking about how a lot of the things that are being shown in the movies right now and that people are learning about over the years, that's conspiracies we've already suspected, right? We've already said about aliens,
Hmm.
all these spiritual realms, things like that. We've already believed in that. But now they're showing it in the movies and they're trying to desensitize people to it, right? So
Hmm.
we already know that you can think something and somebody else can hear you say that, right? You guys have a telepathic powers, but we don't operate in them. So that's why it looks unbelievable. When you start to talk about it, people are like, what are they talking about? Because it's not something we utilize all the time. But if we utilized it, then it would look normal, right? When we are able to teleport, whatever year that they convince the world that we have that power, it's gonna seem normal, right?
Hmm.
Like a horse and carriage. Is a horse and carriage normal for us? No, we get in a car and we drive. But if we could take a car back to 1600, they freak out. You see what I'm saying? Because it
Witch.
wasn't. Berto, what is this? We show up and we have this outfit on, right? Like
Uh-huh.
they freak out. So it's the same thing. So we're moving into that manifestation realm. The veils are becoming thinner. Whatever you desire, you can have. So whatever you want for this show, put out your daily confessions when you're doing your meditation work. You know, maybe even I don't know what if you have a ritual before you start the show. Set up a ritual before the show. Put out there your confessions about it reaching the right people, touching the right people. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you have a natural energy with it anyway, you know. But, you know, I believe in it. I believe in you. I was so excited when you asked me. I was like, yay! My grandma talked about it for like 2 weeks.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
She's wow.
Yeah. It just, I just try to be um humble enough to know that it's a lot of work and it's a lot of things that I need to accomplish. I'm happy that I was able to be the first one to start a podcast. I was happy. I didn't do it for the wrong reasons. I really just did it because of the fact, like man, like I have so much to say. I feel um like I'm not um like when I die and everything like that. I'm not the type of person that's gonna just take his secrets with him to the grave or take his thoughts to the grave. Because if anything, I just always saw myself like as far as like my face, my name, everything. Um, I was gonna be global. I wasn't just gonna be local, national. I was gonna be global. Like I was gonna have people in Africa and Asia and Australia, Europe know who I am. And I just wanted to just be able just to start something good, start something with the ancestors, because a lot of people really been giving me flag over the name, because it's very
Yeah,
controversial. But
because I'm a number girl. So tell me, what does the 1804 mean? I need to know. I've been trying to calculate in my head. I'm like,
oh, well, okay, I started it on the 2nd of January, the anniversary of the Haitian Revolution. So that's where that comes from. And two, just how they used everybody, how they used men, women, and children to gain their independence. I'm using everybody. I'm using men, I'm using women, and I'm gonna have some children on the show. I'm gonna have kids on the show. So I'm using everybody to gain our independence, to liberate ourselves from whatever the society told us to be. Because I see us being, so much more. And I love my people. I love everybody, but I love my people so much. Even if I don't get the love back, even when it's not reciprocated, I love my people. And I'm gonna die knowing that people know or knew that, man, William Downell Brown, man, he loved his people. So that's it, really.
I like that. I like that
Yeah, it's just all about um just knowing what you can accomplish, and don't let nothing stop you, because what's worth having isn't easy. And I don't just admire anybody, because I see this being like just a corporation someday, like. But I'm just trying to have something to leave behind, you know,
yeah.
my name,
Exactly.
legacy, and and that's something that we need to start thinking about. It's our legacies more than our problems and our bills, our um, circumstances that we had no control over. How about the stuff we can control?
Hmm.
So,
I like that what you were saying too, because that's what I was saying. That's what the Sisterhood Project was kind of founded on. It was more so um, embracing Black women on their journey back to the natural self.
hmm
And that looks like, for a long time, we've hated our hair. Sometimes, actually, the other day, I was looking in the mirror and I was like, this is so funny that I have locks, because I don't know, I just never would have thought that. I mean, I'm sure that other people that know me are like not surprised, but just kind of like from like knowing who I am, where I come from, I'm just shocked sometimes. Like, I have locks. But, just kind of embracing our natural hair, our skin color. Like, I don't even know if you can see it, but I'm so proud of this. You see that tan? Miami did me right. So I got like 3 shades darker.
hey,
And I absolutely love it, okay? Just kind of liking different assets about us, our lips. I remember when I was younger, I used to get teased about that. And then at some point when I got a little older, it was like a cool thing. But
yeah,
these are all like natural things for us, and that's for me for any culture. I feel like, I remember when I was in Asia, that's what I was saying, like Japanese, Koreans. It was really big in Korea. Some Chinese people, they would get their eye surgery, so their eyes would look like this versus this, and I just feel like that's so disheartening for any culture, right? But I'm mainly here to speak for Black people. But I just think that it's so sad that we go through these transitions where we are so unhappy with how we naturally look, And I don't think it's nothing wrong with, enhancing your qualities. I'm just saying, like, people put their lives at risk. Right now it's a big thing with people bleaching their skin,
hmm
to change the color and putting themselves at risk for cancer and whatever toxic things that occur from that. So my aspect comes from more like a health point. I'm not here to judge anybody or tell people what they should or shouldn't do. I just think it's so disheartening when we are put in a society where our qualities are not looked at as beautiful. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's for any culture, but particularly ours. So, my page is really to really encourage that, because a lot of people are asking questions, wanting to use more natural products, or like I said, a lot of people I've seen getting back to Like I'm looking at your sweatshirt. Can I see
Oh,
it? Yeah, a lot of people are getting back to like African clothing, or a lot of people are having like clothing lines, and people are supporting.
hmm
Um, we kind of don't even, I don't think we realize it, but we've gone back to entrepreneurship, right?
yeah,
Like a lot of clothing lines, soaps, jewelries. I mean, it's so many things we're selling right now. Like people have, food they're selling. I mean, it's just amazing. Like, and I'm loving every minute of it.
oh yeah, me too.
It's pride behind that.
Oh yeah, me too. And we just gotta get it. We just gotta get in that mindset that your friends' clothing line, you know, it's a brand too, like Gucci and Prada, and they just brands. So
Yeah, and it's just important.
yeah, so you see me, I don't wear nothing unless it's black owned. So we have to really get back into that, Black Wall Street mentality and just, keep our dollars, keep our money. We got the best spending power in the world. But yet we go to places where we can't even sit with the owner or the founder or the CEO or the president or the vice president. You know, and it's to me, I feel like it's unfortunate, but you have a sister or you have a cousin or you have a brother, you have a mom, you have a dad that's have their business and stuff like that. We really need to start, having these mom and pop stores back. We need to start having um, boys and girls clubs, stuff like that. We need to start, excuse me, we need to start, just, you know, one day at a time, small, and then work ourselves big. Because it's not going to be an overnight thing. And I know that, but I know that it's possible because it was done before. It was,
Yeah, that's what I grew up seeing. The mom and pop shops. Like, you know, once like Wally World came, then like that was like a whole thing right there. But like when we used to go to Mississippi like every summer, and like all the stores were like mom and pop shops. And like you said, you sometimes the owner would ring you up and check you out, so you actually knew who they were.
mhm.
In some communities, when things would happen, um, owners may donate stuff. Just lots of things that when we moved into the corporate world, we got away from. And it kind of put all the leveraging power to just the higher up people. I remember working in corporate, and the higher up execs would fly in with charter planes, or if their kids had things at school, they would just go. Or if they took vacations, they went to private islands. Meanwhile, your request for 2 days off been sitting for like 3 months. You know what I'm saying? So now we're taking our power back. We're the ones making these boss moves and deciding what to do. A lot of people are I'm so proud of this. A lot of our people are getting their kids LLCs. Oh, I'm loving that. So it's already putting in the kids' mindset. These kids are like, oh, I'm a CEO. They're like, hey, I love it.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was until,
The LLC.
no, I didn't have no idea what that was until my homeboy Mark told me.
Okay, okay.
But that's what I'm talking about. Those are the type of people that you need to, surround yourself around. And I don't mean you, but I'm just saying in general. But we need to just start being around people that's doing something and just pass along the information. And because whether I like it or not, um, I'm a role model to a certain extent.
You are.
I try to, but I just tell people I'm just honest. I'm genuine, but I just try to be. Um, I would say I'm no different from anybody else. I'm just a man. but a man that decided to, start a business and also, teach people about history and because I've been doing this for years and it's kind of been
I learned a lot of stuff from you too. I learned a whole lot of stuff. Oh my goodness. You was definitely a part of a large part of my awakening as well. I was learning a lot of information. Like, wait, what was going on?
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I like I said, I'm always learning. Sometimes the student becomes the teacher, and the teacher becomes the
Yes.
student.
Uh-huh.
So it's both. I learned a lot from you too, and I just want to because I really want to do like animation too. I've been working on that. I've been trying to find people. I've been trying to find people. I've been drawing again and stuff like that. So I'm really been trying to find somebody to do these 1804 cartoons and stuff and just talk about different parts of history. And then I don't know if you watched the Black Archaeologist series. Oh, check him
So you
out.
need drop that in my
Oh, I
inbox
got
too.
you. I got you. I got you. But see, I'm on it, but that's the type of stuff I'm on right now. It's just, I don't look at this, because the podcast is just one avenue, but I'm expanding,
Yeah, yes. And I'm gonna tell you something. Do not let anybody dim your light because, like I said, I was so nervous at first to branch out because I didn't want people to say, "Oh, here she is again. She's always doing too much," But I actually own 4 businesses, and I'm actually proud of that.
So,
you know,
yeah, so you got
I'm
to be,
really
yeah, because I would say that, with the vision part, um, God didn't let everybody see your vision. Your vision was your call. It wasn't a conference call. It was your call. It was for your eyes and for your ears, for your whole vessel. And it was crazy because I started this show like the 2nd of January. I didn't have because my friend, he just had his first son and he was just like, man, you need to do your show, man. Like you so smart, man. You have so much to talk about. So I was just like, man, anybody gonna listen to me, nobody me like that. But he was just like, man, I believe in you, man, and you got this. And it was just like, deep down, I was just so damaged. I was so, messed up. I ain't tell him, I don't be telling everybody everything, but I was a vulnerable, wounded person, and it just like, stuff that you expect for your mother to tell you or your father to tell you, because I was just pretty much was hanging up on by a thread. A lot of people didn't know that, but whatever he said to me, man, that ignited a fire in me. Like it resurrected me, and I was like, you know what? You're right. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. I don't know how I'm gonna run it, but I'm gonna figure it out. So I was just watching all these different like podcasts and just taking bits and pieces of how they, format and they name and how they conduct it and this and that. So when people talk about, oh, what's the topic today? I don't know. Shoot, let's just have a conversation. Like, let's not be scripted. Let's not feel like, you being lied to. Because I don't like a lot of people. I like to give people that real. So I have people, what I'm saying, walk off my show before. I have people, have things happen with kids crying and stuff like that. But that's real life.
yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
But I just want people to understand, like, you're gonna get the raw, real, and uncut from me, and I don't expect people to understand me, but shoot, it takes a lot to you know, put something that started here into this,
Yeah.
and if anything, like every episode, like this only 32 episodes, man, I have lasted longer than one season on a TV show, a radio show, a movie,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. But I just I just love what I do. Like, because everybody can't say that they a boss when they clock off somebody else's job or if they punch out on somebody's clock. Nobody can say they can come home and be a boss, and I'm a boss.
Right.
And I love to be around bosses, like yourself, I mean, Miss for businesses and stuff, you know.
Now, what episode number is this? You know, I'm the numbers girl.
Oh, you are 30, yeah, you 32.
Okay, I like that. So
Hmm.
that's 5. Okay,
Hmm.
you know, 5 is a good number. It's a change. I like that. That's a part of my know your worth. Know your worth. 5, 7, and 9. I like the number 5.
But yeah, we've been talking for 2 hours.
That's how we do, though. You know how we get down.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, this is one of my favorites so far, and my phone dying, my AirPods dying, so that lets me know that let me wrap this up.
It was worth it, though.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and I want you to come back. You're always welcome. Just let me know.
Okay, for sure.
And
And look, out with the kids too. You want some kids on your show?
oh yeah, yeah, no problem, no problem.
They are very interesting beings.
Uh, okay, well, before I get shut off, um, what's about Lily that you want people to know?
Um, I want people to know that I am very happy with where everything is in my life. Um, I'm happy that I chose to love myself and to follow my heart desires. And I don't want to be boxed. I don't want to be categorized or labeled. I'm just Lily, right? I'm Miss Lily. I'm Laneise. I'm your friend, your sister, your cousin, daughter, whatever. Um, and that's just that. And I'm full of love. I'm full of life. I'm full of light. And I just want to vibrate on that level. I want to respect people for where they are, and I want to be respected for where I am. I want to teach and I want to give. I want to do it ethically and morally and pure of heart. And I do that. And I appreciate any support on any platform. I understand everything is not for everyone. And I just want to be simple. I'm just love. Lily love. Love Lily.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed this, and
I appreciate you for asking me.
oh, no problem. That's what I do. I always try to bring people on who can, you know, bring some credibility on here. And you brought a lot of credibility, and I really feel like this episode really touched some hearts, and a lot of people learned from you. So, but yeah, um, that includes this episode, everybody, and thank y'all for watching. And she will be back because because I said so. But she be back.
For sure.
I'm just playing. But yeah, she be back. And thank y'all for watching. And everyone have a good night. And God bless.
Hi.
Peace.